I'll go quietly tonight, but soon you'll hear me coming home. You hear me coming home.
And it's Monday, September 29th,
and
you're
understand.
The People's Patriot Project. WeP3 Weekly
This isn't everything I
Right now you're listening to WeP3 Radio, proudly produced it.
I wasn't born to be a fighter.
Together we share a mission.
Following my
The
soul.
fallen, honor those who have served, and teach the future generation how you're free. Greetings.
And if I end up gone forever,
stay tuned for
no, I'll always love
WeP3
you
Weekly
so.
Debrief. Currently playing on the radio.
I'll go quietly
Brooks
tonight, but soon you'll hear me
home.
coming home. You hear me coming home. At home, in the morning when you wake, and I'm gone, and I'm half a world away.
Left, your left, hey. Left, right, your left. You got it.
Thank you for joining in today with Andrea Eichmann and Mark Peterson of the People's Patriot Project for this WeP3 Debrief. Find out what our crew has been working on to help support those who have given some and all to the pursuit of liberty and freedoms across Minnesota and the United States. Watch, listen, and support as we create the beacon of hope and opportunity in today's society that needs its heroes. Are you a veteran, first responder, or a patriot looking for a place to put your skill set, your thoughts, and or want to help continue the mission? You have come to the right place. We are the People's Patriot Project, and we want to be the shock and awe when it comes to meeting the needs of our veterans and first responders. We are dealing with a new enemy in today's world where the wounds are not always seen. We want to be part of this mission in saving lives and making a difference. Welcome to the WeP3 Debrief. Here's Andrea and Mark letting you know the mission. And as always, Patriot Pride.
Left, your left, hey. Left, right, your left. You got it.
Hey, here we go. It's our weekly WeP3 Weekly Debrief. I am Mark Peterson, and I'm here with maybe he says something.
Hey, it's Frank the Myth, guys. How is everybody doing today?
I got some volume things going on here. We get this all taken care of. So apparently I don't get to hear the mic issues that I'm dealing with, so I didn't try doing the extra stuff today. So, but we're here. Frank the Myth, our author, amazing news broadcaster for WeP3, and myself coming here to let you know what we got going on this week. Slower week than normal. A couple asks that are out there that we've been out there supporting, taking care of. But why do we come here on Monday? We come here on Monday because the People's Patriot Project does a show on Sunday that showcases organizations from across the country and the musician. And we try to keep our stuff out of the biz. Now, granted, we do our call to action, which we think is important, that we're texting and messaging the people in our contact list and saying, hey, thinking about you, knock the dust off some of those relationships that have been in there for a minute, and reaching out to people that we deemed important, at least at one point in their lives. And so that's a WeP3 thing, or the People's Patriot Project. And but then we kind of just come here and share what we do on Mondays. We do a lot of stuff, and we build a lot of relationships. And this is what we do. We do this because of the men and women who have laid a part of their life or all their life down so that we can pretty much say and do what we want to during life, eat what we want to, drink what we want to, say what we want to, drive what we want to, live in the house we want to, for the most part, within our means. All those things are provided by the men and women who have sacrificed a part of their lives. And we call those our veterans, service members, and our first responders. Also, the ones laying down are the families and the ones that didn't sign up for the mission, the spouses, the children, the loved ones, even the friends of those that chose to do something bigger than themselves, serve their community and their country. Frank, did you get the show notes for today?
I hadn't seen them.
I'll share them with you real quick. And we are so blessed by Frank, and he's learning, and he probably doesn't know, and I'm sharing this with him now as we're training on the job work site, on the job training. You've been there before, right, Frank? When you go into our shared folders, you just type in debrief, the date, and it pops up, and you'll always have access to it. So today's debrief is debrief 09/29/2025, and that's how it should be coming. But we'll get through here. We'll battle through it, and I'll keep talking because we have a lot of sponsors that come and give us the opportunity. Some of them are in-kind sponsors, like we have a social media group that has come and does little reels for us. WeP3 Media, amazing family of supporters. This is Luke Porter, his son, and his wife. Haven't met the son, haven't met the wife yet, but we're going to have that taken care of here in a minute. We've got our new amazing tech director, Lee Mosler, who's the founder of Rec Digital, who doesn't want any recognition at all for what he does. He just wants to support and do which is amazing. Thank you, Lee, and who doesn't want any recognition, as I do it anyway. We got Stephen Rainwater, who has put together an automation system for the People's Patriot Project to help us automate a lot of the behind the scenes stuff, CRM stuff. He wants to get all veterans taken care of. And so if you're a veteran business and you're interested in a CRM and interested in like automations to your systems and stuff like that, get hold of us. We'll reach out to Stephen and we'll line you up and we'll get it all taken care of. And then we got our regulars. We got Operation Texas Strong, giving away homes in the mode and operation of RVs for veterans down in the southern states, mainly Texas. We've got Derek Iozio with Catch-22 peer support, making a difference in the lives of people who served. And then amazing, the acorn doesn't fall far from the tree. Miss Lauren Iozio with the Boho Hobo's Hideaway, Brian Kenzer, Smart Living. I should be doing all these links in here and be sending them out there. And I'll do that as we talk. So I'm assuming, because I'm looking at the sheet and I'm not seeing Mr. DeMyth breach that sheet yet. So we'll give it another look to see, make sure it was sent. Frank DeMyth at the People's Patriot Project.org. Everyone send him an email real quick. See if he answers. Send one more time. Boom. Oh, for sure that one sent this time. So, last night's guest, we had retired Lieutenant Colonel Oak McCulloch on last night, and he has a book out there called Leadership Legacy. And this guy is a down-to-earth, real speak, wears it on your sleeve. I would call him a leader of men and women. Do I need to be cognizant of that, Frank? You know, weird conversation, real conversation. For eons, we've always said leaders of men, or, you know, always used men as the vernacular for all mankind. There's another one, mankind. Do we need to make sure we're tagging? I mean, in my mind, when I say that, I'm thinking
generic.
Yeah. But I suppose, you know, sitting on the other side, if I'm not hearing woman, then maybe I can see being offended by that. I'll do the best I can, but
Leader of people.
say it again. I didn't hear what you said, Frank.
Leader of people.
Thank you. Leader of people. That is exactly what he is. He does open talks. He does books. He does social media. He has a podcast. There's a lot of things in my head that I'd like to say, areas where I'd like to see him. And that's the whole thing. You know what? I'm no one's boss. Even in the People's Patriot Project, you know, some of this stuff was built through a conversation. I tend to want to work together with people. A Joe is a Joe is a Joe. Okay. You're right, Jeremy Daniels. Good to see you, brother. He is here in the house. An amazing man who's out trying to change society. He says it's really about community, being a leader. He gives a lot of credit to his wife, who is also a veteran. Just an amazing sit-down conversation. The best part of last night was just, I don't want to call it banter, because it wasn't. I think banter is purposeless, or doesn't hold a lot of structure and meaning. I'm not going to call it banter's gibberish. These guys were having meaningful thought and developing concepts and growing and building in relationship. And it was just nice to sit back and kind of watch all the pieces fall into place. His biggest premise is servant leadership. And then we had the conversation about the life of knowing who and when in your life you knew who was that servant leader. I've had a lot of leaders in my life that were self-proclaimed, you know, did it for themselves. There is a complete difference when you are connected with someone that lays it on the line. Again, wears it on your sleeve. And it's a night and day thing for them. Who they are and what they are doesn't change. And I think that was, I call him Colonel Oaks. Oak is his first name, but he gave me permission prior to the show. That's where we go. That's where we go. What thoughts did you have, Frank?
Well, I really appreciated the discussion, not just from the individuals, but when they were together.
You are right.
I mean, there was a couple times I wanted to interject, but it's like, nope, just let them go.
Right. We were living in deep fear of last night of going over our time slot, which we do regularly anyway. But it was really funny because I was watching the clock, and we started at 6 o'clock, 1800 Central Standard Time. And I was like, okay, here we go. And we got through our second question, and it was still like 6:40. And I was like, oh, we're doing really good tonight. And this is no one's fault. This is not anything. But then, like, the meaningful conversation started to engage both Colonel Oaks and our musician, Joshua Martin. And I just literally, there's times I just sat and listened and learned and grew from these two men speaking. And so I am for sure going to and I've got to get to the other sheet here because I want to make sure I put Colonel Oaks's web address up. And I also want to make sure that, I may have botched that one. That's all right. I'm stalling, Frank. Stall, talk, say something.
Well, you want me to talk about the musician or about the talks that they had? Because the talks that they had meant a lot. I mean, they were not challenging each other, but they were asking critical questions. And they were both responding back and forth. And I think in the end, both of our guests came out for the better. There was no, that's silly. How can you say that? It wasn't like that. It was just questions and points. And I think both of them came out, like I said, on the better end.
Agreed. So I put Colonel Oaks' website up. It's LTC, Lieutenant Colonel Oak McCulloch.com. That is get you to his leadership page, but then his book is also there. I guarantee that is going to be the next book that Mark Peterson purchases. And I get a lot of books. There's a lot. I told people last night I'm a collector of leadership books. I collect them. There's a lot that I'll get into a little bit, and I'll read for a second, and it doesn't meet my fancy, and so I said it's not where I want to go. There's one done by two Navy SEALs that I just recently read. I liked the title of it. I believe in the premise of it. But once I got into the book, it seemed like they were just spending more time glorifying some of the operations, which, I mean, I get a right to have an opinion. I don't need to hear all the war stories personally. And that's not an attack. It's just what it is. So, yeah, why don't did you not get the link yet, buddy?
Nope. I haven't seen it.
Nothing in your email.
I haven't seen anything, no.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on, man. I normally get the stuff right after you send it.
Yeah. Okay, well, we'll get through it. So I'll go through Do you want to introduce who the artist was? I can get through his songs if you want to introduce the artist.
Joshua, I don't remember the.
Yep, Joshua Martin.
Martin, yeah. And he's a retired service member from the Coast Guard. And what I thought was amazing was that he self-taught playing the guitar. No lessons, can't read music, knows what he's playing because he must have a tremendous ear for music. I had that at one time, but I do not have that any longer. And it's like he said, it's a gift. It's not a skill, it's a gift. Because a skill is something that you develop. A gift is something that God gave you and you have it. And so he played one song that hasn't been released yet. And I don't know if that's the one that we can't talk about, but the other one that
his first song was "Fight This War." We can talk anything that was on the show last night.
That's the one that hasn't been released.
And
then there was another one. Yep. I don't remember if he played it afterwards or during the show. The one that he said would never be played on radio.
That was the last. "If I Fall" was the last song. And just
American Suicide.
Powerful. And then, I lied. That was the second one. "American Suicide" is the one that he didn't think would ever be played.
That was my favorite. I mean, I understand there's things in music like any other business that sometimes they don't want to touch. But that song, that was a very important song, especially now. And somehow, some way, he needs to figure out, or somebody needs to figure out how to get that on the air, because we need to find something to help adjust our social outlook as a whole.
Well, I mean, it's on WeP3 Radio. So that one's on WeP3 Radio. Okay. This first one is not on WeP3 Radio, but we also have three other songs of his, and all very talented. He is a guitar picker. He's not a strummer. He likes to pick through everything, and it's all original stuff, and it's awesome to hear. "Fight This War," amazing audio one that he did on his own. He played it live last night, and then "If I Fall" talked about some tough stuff in his life. He's been through a divorce. It's been a minute, but still something he reflects on, and it's about other issues that if you need help, find the help. If you need help, as a brother and sister seeing another brother suffer or sister suffer, if I fall, help pick me up. And that's kind of the gist of the story. And then American Suicide. Well, it's clear of what we're going to end on today, just because Frank enjoyed it so much. So we'll end tonight's little quick debrief on the American Suicide song. Real quick, go through the notes. It's always a scatter when we don't have Andrea here, because we love having Andrea here, and she does such an amazing job behind the scenes. I have a mistype on this. We'll talk about next week's or this week's show Sunday. There's a mistype on this. I've got it refixed, but it's we got these two amazing young men, Dr. Steve Lansing and Colonel B. Wayne Quist. I didn't get the Martin out of there, but it'll be out of there for promos and then all the stuff this week. They've got a series of books that are about veterans in crisis. They are based right here in Minnesota, out of Rochester. Two amazing young men that just get her done. I've met them on a number of occasions at different events. And these are two young men that just don't slow down, don't give up, don't they don't wave a white flag, that's for sure. And I think one of them, I don't want to say, I believe one of them's damn near 90 years old. And so, I mean, still being part of the mission, still getting the mission done. That's going to be this coming Sunday. We don't have a musician yet. I'm going to work really hard to get that done and try to make that happen. But it is that time of year, folks.
The fattest bear contest?
Well, that one too, the fattest bear contest. But it is time to start focusing on getting our cemeteries, our national cemeteries, covered with wreaths to honor, to remember, and to teach about the men and women who have laid their lives down in the passages of service. The Wreaths Across America event is December 13th. One of the things, we get an astronomical, amazing amount of volunteers that come to lay wreaths on that date. We get frustrations because there's not enough wreaths for all the volunteers to lay. The wreaths need to be sponsored. And this is my shout out, my call out to the DAVs, to the Legions, to the VFWs, to all of the organizations, the auxiliaries. These were your members. And in my opinion, if they were a member of your post, I personally believe that you should be honoring and remembering them with a wreath. That's my opinion. They paid money to help be part of your post. They did that. It cost $17. Family members, I know, jump in, jump on, help out. If you want, we can do grave specific. We can do sponsor a wreath. You can come and lay your own wreath. You can have volunteers lay your wreath. We can do all these pieces, but December 13th, that's not very long from now, because my math, if it corrects me, that's not English. We've got roughly 73 days until that event, because we'll have all of October, all of November, and then the second Saturday of December. So roughly, rough numbers. I could do something fancy. Siri, how many days until December 13th?
75 days until then.
Thank you, Siri. 75 days. So, gone through the notes. We did it. We did it, Frank. We did it without Andrea.
Yeah, well, I'll get better, folks. I promise.
You will. You will. We'll make sure you're lined up, and maybe we're not doing a good job in communicating. We'll get that all taken care of.
Nah, just got fat fingers and a little keyboard.
You know, some people like fat fingers. Just so you know, Frank, some people like fat fingers. I don't know what that means, but.
Well, you guys got a long way to go to bring me up to speed. I'm still.
No. I don't believe that at all. This is the first guy. This guy is the first. He'll minimize absolutely everything. This guy worked in the frickin' Pentagon, for Pete's sakes. No, I'm not buying it, Frank. You quit it.
Yeah, I was a lieutenant colonel, so I was the coffee maker and note runner.
So what? Tell me your take on. So I don't care. I break all the rules. It's fine. But even when I see a lieutenant colonel, I just always call them colonel. Is that, where do you sit on the?
Oh, it doesn't really. I mean, it's a general term. I mean, people understand. You know, when we're in uniform, we all have different ranks, and it's just like when you're working in a unit, you call somebody sergeant, and they might be staff sergeant, or
Sure.
you just say sergeant, and they
Sergeant.
know they're not upset. I mean, they know that you know that they're a staff sergeant, but
Did you ever have a special name for your first sergeant?
yeah, Mr. Top.
I call mine Top. Absolutely.
He
Yep.
was I'll tell you what, I know this is going off track, but I commanded what I think was the best Patriot battery in the entire armed forces. And we were definitely the best in Europe. We won awards to show that. But I didn't do it. I mean, my first sergeant, he was the best senior NCO I worked with my entire time in the military. Gary Livengood. And I know he'll be upset if he hears this, and he knows that I called him out and said that he was, but just my God, he was good. And we got to be the best unit, because when I took command, I had a talk with him and I said, look, Top, you have all the experience in this unit, because I was going into a Patriot command and I had always been short range air defense. So Chaparral, Vulcan, and Red Eye at that time. And I didn't know jack about the high speed computer driven Patriot system. And so he would always talk to me before we made a decision to do anything, but he was just a great NCO.
First sergeants, in my experience, were always that guy in the unit. It's, I mean, I had some sergeant majors that didn't have the gump that my first sergeant Stephen Holland had. I mean, and again, I get to talk to him every once in a while. He's here in Minnesota as well, and every once in a while I get to it, and it was kind of nice too, because Top Stephen Holland was also in the world of education as well, so that always helped me in some of my career path stuff and what he had done and where he was going, and
well, I claim this. I am the longest running battery commander ever, because when we left, they were going to change command and we had a backfill unit that came in, and they disbanded my battery. But instead of taking over our guidon, they made up a new guidon and a new unit. So they were Delta battery and we were Charlie battery. I never changed command.
do you have that guidon?
And oh yeah. And they grabbed the guidon, my XO, who was a great executive officer. She grabbed the guidon, and we had the battle streamer where we were the best battery, and it was a monthly competition, and we won it, and we never relinquished it. We held it for 20 something months in a row, and every month there was a new competition. But I had that framed, and I had it for like 10 years. And then I found out that my first sergeant lived down in North Carolina. So I got a hold of him and I said, hey, can I come down and visit with you for a couple minutes? He said, sure. So I got in my little red pickup truck that used to belong to my dad, or Ford Ranger, put the guidon in, and I drove 6+ hours down to North Carolina. And I gave him the guidon, and I told him, I said, had I known where you were earlier, I would have given it to you earlier. He said, you should have this. And I think I saw a little bit of fluid well up in his eye.
No, you didn't. I
know it must have been allergies or something, but
someone must have popped some CS gas in the area or something.
Yeah, just made my day to have him have that. It's just
those stories are awesome. Those relationships are awesome. I'm glad you got it. I'm glad you did that step. I have some guidons that I may have possession of that maybe I shouldn't or should have possession of. I don't know how I got them, but that's, yeah, it is what it is.
Backbone of the armed forces.
Absolutely.
Non-commissioned officer.
Absolutely. Well, make sure you come check us out next Sunday. Again, I already shared we got these two amazing young bucks coming on with Veterans Empowered to share Veterans in Crisis book series. We're going to get a musician lined up in the meantime. So we'll be watching for that preview tomorrow. We'll get it all taken care of. But we're going to end this day with our amazing musician, Joshua Martin. You can hear him on WeP3 Radio. If you're having a problem finding WeP3 Radio, just go to any browser, type in WeP3, start the radio, RADIO, and it'll probably be the first thing that pops up. There's nothing like it in the world. Nothing like it in the world, folks. But we're going to hear Joshua Martin with American Suicide. Check your 6, Patriot Pride.
Years gone by, oh how they fly. Can't you see the tears in my eyes? Hidden by smiles, but they're all lies. Can't you hear all these cries? It's American suicide. That struggle, you're not alone. The world gone mad, but don't throw any stones. From rags to riches and gold to dust, we live in a world where you can't trust. It's American suicide.